Hello everyone, welcome
Hi.
to another LennyLamb Live. Today our special guest is Marta Sitnik. Marta, for those of our viewers who have not seen you yet, can you tell a few words about yourself?
Sure. Hi everybody, my name is Marta. I'm a baby wearing instructor for more than 2 years now. I'm a mother of 2 girls. Of course, I baby wore them for a long time. I still do, and that's how I became a baby wearing instructor.
Okay, I forgot to introduce myself, forgive me.
This is Kasia.
Yeah, I'm Kasia. I am a member of LennyLamb team, a mother of 1 adorable son. Today, our topic, as you may have noticed, is baby wearing myths. We believe that this is a very serious topic, and at the same time it's very funny, even hilarious sometimes. So hopefully you will have some fun as well as learning some important facts. Because there are many myths that we have encountered so far, we decided to put them in order, and we divided them into those that are connected to health and safety issues and those that are connected to emotional sphere. So starting from health and safety, very often people say that baby wearing is not good for the caregiver, for the mother or the father, that it is detrimental to the spine. What do you say? Is this true?
This is a myth.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Welcome to Mythbusters. Of course, it's a myth because if you carry your baby in a wrap or in a baby carrier, and they are of course adjusted properly to your body shape, to the size of your baby. So if they are adjusted properly, it's much more healthier and easier for you to carry your baby than just carry your baby in your arms. So it's actually good for your health and good for your spine because it takes off the weight of your baby.
Exactly. I believe that the easiest way to find out if this myth is true is to test it yourself. Like, I believe that there is no other option, but if you carry your baby on your hands only, you feel the load on your back and your back will start hurting eventually. However, if you try a wrap or a carrier, you will notice that the weight distributes on the entire back and it's much easier, and it stops hurting simply.
Well, parents usually ask me about this because they ask if it's actually good for their spine, if it's good for their health, and I always say that, you know, we're this kind of species that that carry their children. So we do carry our children because we are born.
It's in our biology, right?
Yes, it's in our nature. We're born and we cannot move, we cannot walk, we cannot transport from one place to another. So we need assistance. We need our parents to do this for us, to help us with this. So we do carry our children, and if you have a baby that is very demanding, that needs to be carried, needs to be held close, it's definitely easier and healthier for you as well to carry your baby in a wrap or in a baby carrier, because you will carry your baby one way or another. So
yeah, there's no other
choose
option.
a better option.
Okay, thank you for that. What about the baby's spine and hips? We also have this myth that it's detrimental to baby's health.
Well, the answer would be the same, actually.
Great, check next one. Okay.
Next. This is a myth. Next.
Okay.
So yes, but to say a few words about this.
It's a very important issue, right?
Yes, it is important because we want to carry our babies in a healthy and a proper way.
Of course.
If you carry your baby in a good position, in a well-adjusted wrap or a baby carrier, it's good for their health. Simple as that. It's good both for you and for your baby.
Okay, the position of the baby, the curved spine, right? The squat position or M-shaped, whatever it's called. This is something that is natural for the baby, and baby wearing promotes this position, so it's nothing else but health. I believe that in one of the comments, I'm not sure, perhaps the person is with us. It would be great if you could say hello or tell us where you're from. There was a comment about the society or the community where people tell you to only wear small baby in a cradle position, that M-shaped or squat position, whatever it's called, is detrimental to the baby, and it should never be carried this way.
Well, there are of course many factors connected to the nationality or religion or the culture. There are many myths that comes from this background, but according to current medical knowledge, the best position for the baby at this stage of development, and for the smallest baby as well, for newborns, is so-called froggy squat position, the position that baby has in a wrap or in a baby carrier. And if the baby carrier and the wrap are well adjusted so that they support the spine and the whole position like centimeters by centimeter, then it's good for the baby. Carrying baby in a cradle is common in some countries, in some cultures, but actually it's not the best way for the baby. It's not the best position. It's not healthy, especially for the hips.
Yeah.
This position is not good for the hips. And of course there is some risk of, if it's a small baby, there may be some problems with breathing, because if the baby is small, has a big heavy head and very weak spine, and it's actually the whole body is weak, there's a possibility that the baby may have problems with breathing.
Yeah, so it's
So
definitely
I would not recommend this position, especially for little babies.
Yeah, especially like for a little baby, even in Europe, right? At a certain age, you still don't know whether the baby has healthy hips or not until a proper examination is conducted. So actually, if it happens that there is some problem with your baby's hips and you carry the baby before that in the cradle position, you may actually do more damage to the baby.
That's true.
Even more. So it's to be on the safe side, not use it.
Well,
simply.
froggy squat position, there are different names for this, actually supports the development of hips. The cradle position does not.
Yeah, there's one more thing that comes to my mind, because for Mythbusters, very often people look for some facts, and I have a very nice fact and for this one. I believe that the institution that is very well known among parents, especially parents who are interested in baby wearing, is Hip Healthy Dysplasia Institute, or please forgive me if I didn't remember it correctly. Yeah. And all of our baby carriers and wraps are tested and certified as healthy for hips by this institute. So this is like just a fact, a bare fact that will also tell you that this myth is not true. Okay, going on to even more serious facts. I told you that it will be serious and funny.
No, serious than funny.
Okay, we'll move on to more funny ways. Okay, let's start with the basis that is the most important. There is a myth that a baby can suffocate in a wrap or a carrier. What do you say?
This is a myth.
Check.
Okay, let's be serious. No, in a well-worn wrap, no, this won't happen if the baby is in a good position, good and healthy position, proper for the age, for the stage of development, and if the wrap or baby carrier is worn correctly, then no, there is no such risk, and you shouldn't be afraid of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's another thing that comes to my mind. Because parents often say that, what if I wrap it incorrectly and so on and so forth. Well, okay, like I always say that we have to use common sense. Like we also heard about the instances, I don't know, a baby falling out of the cribs, falling out of strollers. So basically, with everything, you have to be careful with little baby. Like you have to use it properly. This is like the key. To make sure that everything is fine, like with a woven wrap, with a stroller, with a cradle, with medications, cosmetics. As far as the little baby is concerned, you just have to make sure you use it properly, and then everything will be okay, and you don't have to worry then.
That's true.
Okay, there is another myth concerning the development of the baby, saying that baby will not learn. This is the extreme version. The lighter version is will learn way later how to walk if you carry the baby for too long. in a rubber carrier?
This is a myth.
I like her. She's so easy to deal with.
Okay. Do you know any babies born in a wrap or a baby carrier and that they don't walk?
I know babies that are born in a wrap and a carrier and they all walk perfectly.
I have two. When it comes to learning too late or later, well, and again, a well-worn wrap helps with baby's development actually, but it's not that the baby's development is not just the one factor, just only using a wrap or a baby carrier on only this or only that. There are many different factors that take part in this whole process. So we cannot say that when you carry your baby in a wrap or when you drive your baby in a stroller, they will develop faster or no. It doesn't go like this. So I have two daughters. They were both in a baby carriers, in a wraps. So they were carried a lot, and one of them started sitting and crawling when she was 10 months old. So that's the
really light.
That's the top boundary, and the other one started when she was 6.5 months. So I have two kids, both mine,
and both different.
And they are so totally different, and their development was different. So there's no rule.
Okay, I mean, it's the development of learning how to walk is so natural that I can't imagine Babywearing can influence or impact that.
Well, the wrap won't stop your baby, definitely.
I would rather say, if I was to elaborate on it, that it may actually promote faster development because Babywearing promotes closeness and it makes a baby more secure and more self-confident, which also...
You're going to the next category.
Yeah, sorry.
That's emotional.
I know.
But that's true, because a baby in a wrap or in a baby carrier takes part in your life. The baby is not in a bed, in the room, in a stroller somewhere out there, but the baby is so close to you and takes part in whatever you're doing, in your daily conversation, in cooking, in traveling, going to the shop. So they are more open and socially more developed, and that may happen that they will want to start walking faster actually, because they are so into different activities.
Okay, because before we are going too far, because I know it's my fault.
You started.
I admit, yes, I started. I admit. I wanted to say that since we are live, if you have any questions or just want to say hello in the comments, just do. You're welcome to do it. We also have our friend Eva at the backstage who will read the questions if there are any.
I'm out there.
Somewhere out
she's
there.
She doesn't want to show herself, but she's there. You have to believe us, simply. Okay, I know that we wandered off the path a little bit. Coming back.
You did.
Okay, I did. Sorry, I did. All right. I put the blame on me. Coming back to health issues, there is also this myth that a baby that cannot sit unassisted yet should not be worn in a wrap or a carrier. What do you say?
This is a myth.
Okay, why?
Because the wrap or a baby carrier gives the baby a good position, healthy and proper for the spine development, so why not? Okay. You won't start carrying your baby only when they sit by themselves. Because as I said, for example, when it comes to my children, first daughter decided to sit by her own when she was 10 months old. What was I supposed to do with her before?
Carry.
For 10 months.
Carry.
In my arms, in a cradle position.
No, in the rubber carrier.
that would be quite impossible, trust me. So don't worry, seriously, you can start wearing your baby in a wrap first when it comes to newborns, from the very first days of their lives, so go ahead.
Yeah, the wrap, well adjusted, as Marta mentioned many times because it's so important, well adjusted wrap will support the baby's position and the baby's spine and head very well, so you don't have to worry that the baby's spine is not strong enough yet. Because, okay, Eva?
I think you just answered Christina's question, and let me read it.
Okay.
Is it true that if the baby stays in the soft structure carrier for too long, he can deform his spine? So just like you said.
Okay, it can. It can. But thank you, Christina, for this question, and hello.
And what does too long mean?
Yeah,
because I don't think that baby will stay anywhere for too long.
That's also true. Actually, that's a funny thing that very often we get questions for how long, like in a row, I can wear my baby in a wrap and a carrier. It's just not possible to do it for too long because the baby will want to eat, the baby will want to sleep, the baby will need to have the diaper changed.
In case of little babies, they will either get hungry or you'll have to change the diaper, so you won't carry them for the whole day in one wrap, in one row.
Exactly.
No way. In case of older children, they will want to start exploring the apartment or the place.
They will want to walk and run around.
No way.
So
that would be nice to actually close your baby in a wrap at 9 a.m. and take out for supper.
Yeah.
But no, it's
that
not
would
possible.
Be nice. That would be nice. Okay. One last from the list of my safety regarding questions. Yeah, I know. Thank you for that. Can the baby fall out of the baby carrier or a woven wrap?
If the wrap or baby carrier is well adjusted, then no.
I know that Marta keeps repeating it over and over again, but it's just so important. We just want to stress that if you use it properly and correctly, you don't have to worry. It's all okay.
I keep getting these questions every day, actually, every day. And lots of parents ask if the baby won't fall out. And I always say, if you do it properly, no way.
Exactly. Okay, Eva, you had some question?
Yes, we have an interesting question from Marie. My question is, what do you think is the best to deal with those myths? Just ignore them or try to explain. I live in a small town where baby wearing isn't common, and I have to deal with a lot of myths all the time.
Okay, so how do you deal with them? Do you have any advice?
Just smile.
Well, at first, when I started baby wearing my first daughter, so 4 years ago, I was a bit stressed out, actually. I got some questions from strangers in the street. It was like, oh, won't you hurt your baby? Oh my God, the spine, it's so round. It should be straight. I was like, if it's a stranger in the street, just seriously, it's a stranger in the street.
Your life, don't worry.
At first, I was stressed out. Sometimes I wanted to start conversation. I wanted to explain this to the person, but that depends actually who you're talking to, because most people won't be interested in your arguments and the medical facts, if it's actually good for the baby or not. They just want to express their opinion.
Unwanted, unsolicited advice.
Unwanted opinion. So there's no point to discuss with them. When it comes to friends and family, that's your choice. You know your family relations the best, so that also depends. With some of the relatives, most probably you will start the conversation and explain all the myths and medical issues and aspects of baby wearing, and they will most probably agree with you and say that okay, I didn't know about that. Oh, that's fine. But some of them won't take your explanations, so also there's no point. That all depends.
I think it's like a broader issue, a broader topic of basically usually mothers. Okay, I don't want to generalize fathers sometimes as well. That's true that it usually refers to mothers. That mothers have to explain their choices regarding mothering in so many ways and on so many aspects, like long breastfeeding, co-sleeping, baby wearing. I would say, I mean, it depends on your character. What I do is I just don't explain. I don't fight anymore because I don't feel like doing it. I just have the certainty that my choice is the best that for my baby and for myself. I know that it works best for us, and this is actually one argument that I sometimes use, that I believe that it's not like one choice is perfect for everybody and everybody should do whatever I do. I think that every mother, father, baby should do whatever works for them. If co-sleeping, for example, doesn't work for them, don't do it. It's okay. It works for me, so I do it. and it's none of your business that I do it.
That's
Sorry
true.
if I'm being too harsh, but sometimes this evokes emotions, and it depends on your character. If you feel you want to explain it, go on. I believe that perhaps you will be successful, at least for some more open-minded people, but sometimes it's just better to move on and save your energy for more important stuff.
I remember one situation. I still remember this. It was almost 4 years ago, so it has it really had an impact on me.
Yeah.
It was my beginning of baby wearing, and I read on the internet that people may have some comments, they may have some opinions, and I was like, you know,
Already
I never heard any towards me, but I heard that people may point to me. So I was walking down the street with my baby in a wrap, and there was an elderly man just coming across, and he was staring at me. He was really staring, and I was like, inside, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him.
You didn't know his intentions yet.
He will ask me in a second about something. He will tell me that I'm hurting my baby, and I will tell him. And he looked at me, he came to me very close. He looked at me and he was like, that is so beautiful. My mommy used to wear me like this.
Oh my god, this is so sweet. You
And
must
I
have
was
been
done.
surprised.
I was seriously, even now I have tears in my eyes.
What a great
because
story.
I was done. I had so many arguments in my head, and I was like,
You already fought with the men in your mind.
yes, because I heard that people tend to make some comments, unpleasant comments, and I was like, I was ready.
It's
So
a lot.
you
It's
were
a
well
lot.
prepared.
I was so prepared to tell him.
But you were not prepared for the one that was to come.
And I actually remember this. Really, it was beautiful.
It's an
And
adorable
he
story.
was so touched, and I was touched, and I couldn't say anything. I was like, oh.
So great. Okay, this is actually a nice bridge to the next part of our myths. The ones that are
I
associated.
did it again.
Yes.
It was not planned.
No,
No.
it was spontaneous. Do you believe it? It was? Okay,
It
it was.
was.
Yes, it was.
Pretty
Sure.
emotional.
Okay, emotional aspects of the myths connected with baby wearing. So I think that one that is most commonly repeated is that the baby will get too strong of an emotional bond with the caregiver and will not manage or be successful to become independent in the future.
This is a myth.
Okay.
No. I don't even know what to say right now because I hear all those myths quite often, and I have to reply to them quite often.
And what do you say?
That it's not possible because the baby won't get used to carrying because the baby is born used to be carried. Because we're this kind of species. The baby in mother's belly is wrapped tight and carried and rocked all the time. Even when she's sleeping and she's just breathing, she's rocking her baby. So that's what we are used to.
This is natural for us.
When we are born. So that's a natural thing that we carry our babies, and when they start walking, when they start developing, when they start exploring the world, they slowly leave us.
Yeah, and that's a sad one. I believe that I already mentioned it like a few myths earlier. That actually, and it's actually proved by many examinations and tests that baby wearing and the closeness of a caregiver to a baby promotes development in a way that makes the baby more independent and more open to explore the world, because the baby feels secure, has no fears, or at least the fears are more bearable or easier to deal with. And in this way we raise a baby who is more open to the world and will actually, the babies who are baby worn actually are faster in development and also in developing their emotional independence. And I also believe that the example of hundreds of thousands of people who wore their babies in baby carriers and wraps prove it, that their babies are very independent. I know my son is extremely independent. He wants to do everything on his own. I mean, every tiny little thing. And this is the baby that was worn in a baby wrap and later in a baby carrier. So I would say that my own proof also shows that it's not true.
I have the same with my, especially with my older daughter, that she was very demanding child. That's how all this baby wearing adventure started. Actually, in my case, I carried her a lot. A lot, seriously. We didn't have a stroller, so I had to carry her everywhere. And she became a very independent, assertive Elsa.
Okay, there's also like all these myths related to emotional sphere intertwine a little bit, and I know that we tackle each one a little bit, answering another question. But just to make it clear, I also wanted you to tell us about the myth of spoiling the baby because of baby wearing. Like you mentioned making the baby get used to baby wearing. It's also referred to the baby being spoiled.
But you cannot spoil your baby with your love.
We know it, and we believe...
You cannot spoil your baby with your love. They know it.
Great. So now you're prepared for everything.
No way.
She told you, you know it.
You cannot spoil your baby by giving them love and support and carry them. No way. You can just help them.
Yeah, I think that there is still some opinions of the past that are a burden here. Because in the past, very often, very many people would say that you have to leave your baby unattended, you have to let your baby sleep in a crib on his or her own, that this is the way to raise a baby. And it's also in the recent, I don't know, few decades that actually the multiple psychologists and tests discovered how these practices can be detrimental to the baby's health.
Actually.
The cry it out method of teaching the baby of how to fall asleep on his or her own is perceived as cruelty, actually. And I don't know, 20, 30 years ago it was a common practice. So we know that the knowledge regarding these issues changes over time, and what we should do is to reach out for the latest information that there is available out there, especially that information is broadly available today, and it's easy just to reach out for it. I wanted also to ask you, because you are a baby wearing consultant, I wanted to ask you about people reactions you experienced. I mean, sometimes they are very funny, like people see you in a baby with a baby in a woven wrap or a carrier, and what do they say? What do they do?
Most of the reactions, well, in my case, I would say that almost all reactions were really, really nice. I didn't get any negative comments, any negative feedback. There were some people concerned about the health of my baby, that, oh my God, you will hurt her spine, or the back should be straight, not that round, you're hurting the baby. But most of the comments are really nice, that, oh, it's so nice, oh, it's so cozy. Okay, sometimes people ask, huh, isn't she too big to be carried? I was like, no.
I mean, I think the funny part is that people who see you, for example, wearing your 2-year-old daughter in a baby carrier, they see you and they ask you, or they have this question in their mind, isn't the baby too big already? She should probably walk on her own. And I'm 100% sure that the same people from time to time will carry their baby on their hands. So as a matter of fact, they do exactly the same. They do carry their babies or toddlers, and as a matter of fact, they just make it more difficult for themselves, because it's really difficult to hold your 2-year-old on your hands for like half an hour, and it's absolutely way easier if you do it using a baby carrier.
For example, a 2 or 3-year-old can walk by themselves pretty well.
Yeah.
They can even go from one place to another because that's not that obvious. Because sometimes you just carry your baby to get from A to B because the baby goes like this.
Okay.
And you just want to go from A to B.
Yeah.
So it's easier to carry your baby. But for example, if the baby walks perfectly fine, they sometimes get tired. And it's easier to bring them home in a wrap or in a carrier than just in your arms.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I believe that we discussed the topic of baby wearing myths so far. There are also two things I wanted to mention at the very end. For those of you who have not noticed yet, there is a great 20% off sale running at LennyLamb's for all our wraps, like long woven wraps, ring slings, and stretchy wraps. So this is your time to get one if you were looking for
one.
Okay, more than one. Okay, it's a great chance to get more than one. And I also wanted to show you, talking about wraps, I also wanted to show you something old and something new at the same time. Who recognizes this? Who recognizes this? You do. Okay. I knew you would. This is our design called Time. We already had it in a few versions, and actually we decided to weave it once again. This is 100% cotton. I'm not sure if you remember, but this was a piece of art called Time Slips Away by Rachel Seams, which we transformed into woven wraps and carriers. And it will be available on our website tomorrow. So if this is something you were looking for, just be with us tomorrow. Okay, I think this is it.
I'm running out of time.
No, just one more thing, sorry. Because when we announced this live stream, we said that there will be one person who will receive our woven wrap, and the person is Danielle. Please forgive me, I can't remember the last name, but I believe there was only one Danielle, and we will write to you in the comments. So don't worry, you will be informed that you are the winner. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you for today.
Thank you.
See you next time in 2 weeks. Have a great time. Bye bye.
Bye.